Hello YouTube. I'm making this video on how I almost got shot to death 2 nights ago. And no wise I'm trying to make this some type of racial stimulation or it was some type of, I'm against the law. Nothing to downgrade law enforcement. I'm pro law enforcement. I'm thankful for our police officers. If it wasn't for them, our streets would not be safe. But I'm just gonna give you facts on what happened to me on July the 18th. Starting off on July 18th, approximately 9:45 p.m. We had a very good day. We went to malls. We went to a place called Brickell City Center. And it was a beautiful mall. It was a...
That night, we decided to drive back down south to a mall called Dadeland Mall.
We get to the mall. My sister, she goes shopping, and she had to go to Macy's, which is on the other side of the mall. So we get in the van, we drive to the other side of the mall, and we get there to Macy's. But my cousin, the whole time, she's being a party pooper. She does not get out. She doesn't do anything. Nothing will move her. We go to this store, we go to that store, we go in here, we go in there. She never gets out. So my sister and one of my cousins, they walk in. They walk in with my sister, and they go in, and my other sister and the other cousin, they stayed in the car, and I went with my sister and my cousin. And, I'm not really a person who loves I don't really like clothes stores that much. I don't like spending that much time in clothes stores. And so after my time, I was just like, I'm out. So I go back to the van, and one thing we like playing in our church is we like playing, like, show me your hands, like, get on the ground, interlock your fingers, spread out your legs. And we like to do these type of things. Like, for example, if there's like a young person in a building or whatever, and there's like 10 of us, we're gonna act like we're some type of SWAT team or SEAL Team 6, and we're gonna like clear the whole building. Like, clear, this room is cleared, that room is cleared. And when we finally see the person who's the suspect, we're gonna be like, show me your hands, or get on the ground. And if the person doesn't any move, we neutralize them. So we go I go to the van, and my cousin, she's sitting in the passenger seat, and Sashi and my sister, she's sitting in the driver's seat. So I go to the passenger seat, like, the window, and I knock on the window, like, ma'am. I open the door and, like, ma'am, please step out the vehicle. Show me your license and registration, ma'am, please, all that. Ma'am, please step out the vehicle. But I just want her to get out the car because she's just been in the car the whole time. And so then, she starts laughing. He's like, Andrew, leave me alone, and stuff like that. And so then I'm like, ma'am, please step out the vehicle. I'm not going to tell you again. And so then I go, and then you see this. This is my phone. There's a clip I put on my belt. And so what I did is that I pulled out my phone. I'm like, ma'am, please step out the vehicle. Please step out the vehicle. Show me your hands. Show me your hands, ma'am. And, like, she's just laughing so much. And so then I end up getting her out of the car. But turns out while we're doing all this, we see this couple. They're looking at us. They're looking at us. And Sashi, she saw that, and she brought that to me and my cousin Tanya. So we saw that. We're like, whoa, okay. And so they probably think that something bad is going on. So I end up sitting in the car. I end up sitting in the van. And I sit in the van, and afterwards, we go inside to Macy's. We go inside to Macy's. We were playing, like, we were laughing the whole time. So, we go inside. And while we're inside, I see one police officer. He walks into the Macy's. And when I saw that, the way the police officer walked in, he walked in with his walkie-talkie in his hand, and he was looking for somebody. So then, a few minutes later, he walked right past us. He walked right past us, and he looked at us, and he made no signs, and he just walked past us. So then, probably like, okay, it's some other guy. I see another police officer. He walks in. He is completely decked out. Bulletproof jacket, magazines, gun strapped to his leg, all the nine, He's ready for war, okay? So then I'm like, okay, what's going on here? He walks in, and he's looking for somebody, too. Okay? So, all that is going down, and I tell my cousins this. This, like, shoe section in Macy's, it was right by the door outside. And, while... I was talking to my sisters. If any of y'all know how Macy's is, like, the format, right when you walk in, there's, like, the shoe section for the woman and stuff like that. So we go there, and as we're talking, I look outside the door. I see a police car pull up. And I'm like, okay, I see a police car outside. I see like a squad car outside. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And not even 15 seconds later, you know, I'm talking to my cousins. I look out the door. There is an army of police officers. A huge army. I'm not saying 5, 6, 7. I'm not saying 10 cops. I'm not even saying 20. I'm saying they were everywhere. Police officers were everywhere. Okay? And so I'm like, what's going on? They all just walk, like they just barge in at the same time. And the 2 police officers up front, they were walking towards my direction. All of them were walking towards my direction. So I was like, okay, what's going on? And then the one up front, he's like, hey, buddy, can I talk to you for a second? And then I'm like, yes, sir. And before I could even finish saying yes, sir, one of the cops, he just grabs my arm. He does some type of thing, and the other one grabs my arm. And literally, if I went limp, they would have dragged me out of the store. Like, they literally were like, I'm telling you, everything happened so fast. I was like, okay, what's going on? And everyone who's shopping, like, they stopped shopping, like, what's going on? Like, cops are everywhere. And, like, they dragged me outside the store. And, like, they made me put my hands on the hood. And, like, while they're dragging me outside the store, like, one of the cops, he, like, basically, like, he's searching me. He, like, pulls my shirt open. And, like, the type of shirt that I was wearing, it had, like, these buttons on it. Like, not these type of buttons, but it's, like, the buttons that you can clip on. And, like, my shirt just basically popped open. And he's just searching me everywhere. And, number one, if you're searching someone like that, I think he was way too aggressive. The way he was searching me, that was just a little too far. I believe you can search someone in a certain way. But the way he searched me, I'm not going to go into detail, but the way he searched me, it was kind of violating. It felt like, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. So I'm like going out there, I'm like, what's going on here? And so then, like, he's patting me down. He put my hand, they made him put my hand on the hood. And, like, he's, like, in my face. And, like, while he's talking to me, he's like, so what's up, buddy? I'm like, you know, what's going on? And then he's like, did you call 911? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, did you call 911? And he's like, starts cussing at me. He's like, if you're lying to me, you're going to jail tonight. And if you're being straight with me, then I can work with you. But if you're lying to me, you're going to jail. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he starts accusing me of changing my clothes. I'm like, sir, what are you talking about? And he's in my face. And this cop is screaming at, and all these cops are just standing there like, you know, and all of them, like, I'm like, what are all of them doing here? Okay? And so, like, turns out, like, and I'm not even done this. Okay, so he's screaming at me. He's, like, yelling in my face. He's like, oh, he's, like, mad at me. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, did you call? I'm like, here's my phone. You can search my phone. And they made me take out my ID. They ran my name through the database, obviously, clean record. And so they're searching me. They find nothing on me. So I'm like, what? And there's one cop, while they're searching me, I was looking at one police officer. I'm like, sir, what's going on here? Why am I here? He's like, well, we're processing you right now. I'll let you know. But I'm like, no, why am I here? Why am I here right now? And he's like, well, we're conducting an investigation, sir. We're conducting an investigation. After we processed you, we'll let you know. I'm like, okay. So they're running my name throughout the whole thing. I'm standing there. I'm like, what's going on here? The cop that I asked, you know, when they can't find anything, like, the guy just keeps on searching me like he's looking for something. I'm like, what are you looking for? One of the cops, that young man, I wish I got his name. He was very polite. He came to me. He's like, what have you been doing in the past hour? I'm like, well, I'm shopping with my sisters. He's like, but have you been playing or doing anything in the past? I'm like, and I'm like, oh, here's what happened. I was playing with my cousin, and I told him the whole story. And then he looks at the other cops. He's like, here's what happened. They were playing cops and robbers. So it turns out I was playing with my cousin. This couple who saw, they thought I was an armed robber. They thought I was an armed robber, and I tried to hijack the vehicle. And you know what's crazy? Was that when that same cop was screaming in my face, he was screaming at me. Then he went to Abigail. That was that was my cousin who I was playing with. And she was supposed to be the victim of the hijacking, right? And he's arguing with her. He's saying, no, we saw him try to hijack the vehicle. We saw him. We saw. And Abigail's like, okay, number one, if somebody's trying to hijack a vehicle, why would they go to the passenger side? Okay? And so he's arguing with the supposed victim, trying to accuse me of something. I'm like, so all of us are like, and police officers were everywhere. And you know what ended up happening? The police officers, they covered every single entrance. They blocked every single exit of the mall. They surrounded the whole mall. Police officers, they surrounded the whole mall. So here's what happened. The police officer, who was very polite, he was explaining to me what happened. They get a call of an armed robbery and a potential hijacking happening, and then they hear that I go inside the mall. So according to them, they don't know if this is going to become an active shooter alert or whatever, so they were prepared. And all of them, they pulled up with their police cars. Not one of them had their lights on. Not one of them had their lights on. And this young guy, like, it was a very, and what's crazy is that I was not even scared when the whole thing was happening, because we know protocol. You know, you respect a police officer, you should get respect back. And we don't cuss. Obviously, our number one, when they came to me, and obviously I was respectful. You came to me, you found no gun on me, and the young guy, he's screaming in my face, he's looking for a gun. He's literally looking for a gun. And even when that same cop, I'm like, sir, so can I go now? He's like, yeah, pack your, and he's like cussing. I'm like, okay. And literally, I'm like, can I go now? And I literally get my wallet. And I literally was being exaggerative. I got my wallet, I put in my wallet, I put my license in my wallet. I'm like, can I go now? He's like, yeah, you can just get out of here. And like, even one of the cops, he's like, oh, so we're letting him go? Oh, what did I do wrong? What? I committed no crime, I committed no felony. Like, what's going on here? I'm telling you, if it wasn't for God, there's so many scenarios that could have, if it wasn't for God, I would not be here making this video. Because these police officers came here, they came ready. They came ready to neutralize. And look at it from their perspective. I understand their perspective, but when they came and they realized there was no threat, don't treat me like I'm still a threat. Don't treat me like I'm still a threat. And that's one main problem, because I could have gotten shot, no doubt. These people, they came in geared, ready, because they covered every exit. They surrounded the whole mall, and they came in ready for action. And like, I'm telling you, cops were everywhere. And literally, when one cop was screaming at my sisters and all them, we have about 50 certified officers on their way here right now, and stuff like that. Officers from other districts coming right now. And like, it just blew way out of proportion. And sitting here right now makes me thankful to God, because if it wasn't for God, I believe I would not be alive right now. So that's my story. That's my story. My story is on July the 18th. The night of July the 18th. I could have been dead. So yes, that's my story. And you know, a lot of people, they heard that I almost died. And I'm not making, it's not something for clickbait or anything, but it's actually happened. And you know, police officers were, I'm not even talking about some of the police, like the police officers who came in first. It wasn't those cops who like are uniformed. It's like these task force looking people. I'm like, I've never even seen these type of looking, like these cops before. Like I've never seen those type of, like, these people, they came in ready. Like, they came in ready to neutralize a threat. It was a very scary experience. So that's my story, guys.